The NBA Finals is one of the most anticipated and exciting sporting events in all of professional sports, with the format of best out of 7 games being the NBA champion for the season. To start with a brief description of the NBA Finals history, the first finals were played following the 1946-47 season where the Philadelphia Warriors beat the Chicago Stags. This was the beginning of a great tradition in sports that all fans, casual to the extreme, look forward to watching. In the early era of the finals, there was no shot clock and there was no three-point line like one would be accustomed to seeing these days. This made for defensive, low-scoring matchups in the early days of the NBA. Since the inception of the finals has become clear, the dynasties have been made, with the earliest example of a dynasty being the Minneapolis Lakers, who won 5 titles in 6 year span from 1948 to 54. This was the NBA's first true dynasty led by the legendary center George McCann. The next great dynasty was led by one of the all-time greats, Bill Russell and John Havlicek. This was the Boston Celtics, who won 11 NBA Finals and appeared in 12 in 13 years, from 1957 to 69. This was the first dynasty that most remember and talk about, but in reality, they were the second team to do it. In the years to follow that, there has been teams such as the 1980s Lakers and Celtics. Each of these teams were led by legends, with the Lakers having Magic Johnson and the Celtics having Larry Bird. These two teams incited the excitement back into the finals after such a rivalry that hadn't been seen before. After the 80s, there were the 90s with the team that had a player known by the name Michael Jordan. These Bulls won 6 finals in 8 years and had a dominant style of play throughout the 90s. Since the 90s, there have been teams to win a few times in a span of several years, but none that could come to par with the past legendary runs.
In NBA Finals history, the top 5 most successful teams are the Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers, and the Chicago Bulls. The Celtics have won 17 titles, the Lakers have won 16, the Chicago Bulls have won 6, the Spurs have won 5, and the Golden State Warriors have won 4. Those 5 teams account for 70% of the NBA championships won. The most dominant team in NBA Finals history was the 2000-2001 Los Angeles Lakers, led by the duo of Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. The team went 15-1 in the playoffs, going undefeated in the Western Conference and dropping one game in the finals to Allen Iverson and the 76ers. In last year's NBA Finals, the Golden State Warriors squared off against the Cleveland Cavaliers in what would turn out to be one of the most entertaining and historic NBA Finals of all time. The Warriors were coming off the best regular season of all time, going 73-9, and were the favorite to win the finals. Taking an early 3-1 lead 4 games into the series, the Warriors looked to have the series wrapped up. Cleveland had other plans. LeBron James played 3 of the best games of his career to help bring the Cavaliers back to win the series in Game 7 with a score of 93-89. Kyrie Irving hit the go-ahead basket to seal the win for Golden State. It was the first time that a team had ever come back to win the NBA Finals down 3-1. It was Cleveland's first NBA title in franchise history.
This year's NBA playoffs has been no short of exciting thus far. With an impressive first-round sweep of the Pacers, the Cleveland Cavaliers are looking to do just what they did last year, win. Also, the Golden State Warriors, led by Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry, are looking to complete their series against the Trailblazers to move on to the second round. One of the biggest surprises in the playoffs so far has definitely been the Milwaukee Bucks, with their dominance over the heavily favored Toronto Raptors. Russell Westbrook and James Harden have been the most talked about players all season, and now they are finally facing off in the first round of the playoffs. This sets up for the most frequently asked question during the playoffs: who will make it to the finals? The most likely answer to this question is the Warriors and the Cavs, but don't rule out everyone yet. The San Antonio Spurs match up perfectly with the Cavs and have beaten the Warriors in the regular season many times, so the Spurs can definitely make it to the finals like they have done so time and time again. Another potential team that could reach the finals are the Boston Celtics, led by star point guard Isaiah Thomas. This team is the number 1 overall seed in the East and has no signs of slowing down. They will have to overcome their current 2-0 deficit against the Chicago Bulls. Underdogs are rare in the NBA playoffs, but never rule them out. There are 2 teams that could really sneak into the NBA Finals this year if favorite teams aren't careful: the Washington Wizards and the Los Angeles Clippers. The Wizards feature quite possibly the best backcourt in the NBA with guards John Wall and Bradley Beal. The Clippers will be without Blake Griffin for the remainder of the playoffs, but there is still hope with the leadership of Chris Paul and the dominance of DeAndre Jordan.